Okay, new day here in the shop, and I want to play around with this positioner before I move it back to its original spot. What I want to do is I'm going to change the blades out to 3/8 thickness, and I want to do a variable spaced box joint jig. And what I mean by that is it's going to be 3/8 tongue, 3/8 space, 3/4 tongue, 1-inch space, and then reverse it on the other side here. So I'm just going to take this piece of plywood, I'm going to cut it, rip it down to 3.5 inches, make sure both ends are square, and just play around with it and see how it turns out. So you can see here I'm leaning on this, and I've got my full, not my full weight, but probably half my weight on my elbows here. And this thing just does not budge. I mean, this is rock solid, and that's what I like about this jig. So let me, I'm not going to show you this. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to bring my table saw rip fence in, rip this down, put it back, and bring this back to 0 again, and then see how I can do. But I'll give you an idea how long that took me in real time. So I'll be back in a minute. Just when you think you got things figured out, you don't. I thought I had the camera on when I was cutting this joint, but I didn't. I went upstairs to find out that everything I did was not on tape. But here's the joint. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to show you how I did it. The good news is I've got the math figured out. But a beautiful joint. And I'm going to zoom in on this one anyway, just to show you how it turned out. And then I'll show you how I made it. So it's as I described earlier. I guess I don't have to describe it to you again. But there you have it. I mean, nice, tight, beautiful joint. Perfectly flush here. Alright, I'll cut another board. Oh, and the one thing I did that I had wrong in my earlier video is that this is not 3.5 inches wide, it's 4. So 3/8, 3/8, 3/4. So 1.5 inches, 3 inches, 1 inch in the middle, total of 4 inches. So I was mistaken when I said it was 3.5. It's 4 inches wide. Let me cut another board and we'll go through the process of making another one. Okay, in my previous video I told you I'd tell you about how much real time it took to go from this setup to a rip fence back to this setup. And it took about 12 minutes. But for about 1.5 minutes of that I was looking for my pencil. Anyway, I found that, and I've got things set up now and I'm ready to go. The one thing I want to tell you is that this has got a big void right here in this end, a couple of pieces missing, and this is not the same type of plywood I was using for this joint. This has got a multi-layer, probably twice as many as this. It's not Baltic birch, but it's called AccuPly, and it's probably twice as many as this one. But anyway, I'm gonna run it and see what happens. And I've got 2 pieces cut, so I'll do them individually, obviously. The one thing I am going to tell you though about doing variable spaced box joints is that you can't gang them up and do all 4 sides at once. You know, with the spacer block in here. So you'd have to do just the 2 sides and then the other 2 sides together to match up. But the trade-off is the much better look, and I think it's well worth it. So let me get this spaced over. 3/8. Make my first cut. That was 10 times faster than when I did this one. I was working the math out in my head. So I'll drop in my other piece here. I'll go back to 0 because that's where I want to start. I want to make my 0 cut now. So I remove this material on this matching piece. My card out of there. I got a lot of blowout on this one, but that's okay. Let's see how they go together. Just like the other one. You're going to see a tight fit on the one side here, but not the other because of the blowout, but there's a tight fit on this side. But on this side, you can see where it blew out on me. So had it, using different material, I'd have been fine, and a better backer. But it worked again perfectly. And so the repeatability is fantastic. Nice and flush again. Perfectly flush. So that's how I did it. And there's the results I got the first time with using better plywood and a better backer. Anyway, that's how she works, and it works fantastic. Now let me flip them around. And then you'll see that blowout on the inside there. Nice jig though. Very repeatable and very accurate. Thanks for watching.